The UPS driver just left our front door, and we opened up the box, and inside we found this new Autel EVO Dual. Now, we know a lot of people are interested in seeing what's happening with this particular aircraft. We've had a beta unit for a while, and we've done some really fun things with it, but this is the actual shipping product in the rugged bundle. So we want to spend some time showing you what's inside the rugged bundle. So without saying anything more, let's dive right in. First off, kick open tabs here. And since we know it's the rugged bundle, there's not going to be a whole lot to pull out quickly, so we'll just grab the case, set the box off to the side here. So first thing that we note is we have a nice heavy case in the rugged bundle. This is not the same case as the one that's coming from China. This is a US case that comes from GPC. So let's get into it. And here is the rugged bundle setup, ready to go. So let's see what all we have in here to start with. Of course, we have the warranty cards, so we'll set this over here for a little bit later. We have the aircraft itself. Now, this is a little different than the beta model. The beta model did not include a gimbal guard or gimbal cover, so we're really happy to see that in the system here. And we'll pop that off. Nice. So this is something that we didn't have in the original beta unit. I'm going to go ahead and fold the leg in, and we'll set this guy right down here, put the gimbal guard back inside. We've got 3 batteries. There's 1 battery in the aircraft and 2 batteries that come packed in the case. Now, the case is set up to hold a total of 4 batteries, so we're going to have 1 in the aircraft, 3 in the case. Next up, of course, we have the remote control, which was something we'd expect, and we'll go ahead and just leave that sitting here. Charging cable and a second charger. So we've got 2 chargers in the system. We'll go into why that's important in just a few minutes here. And we've got some spare props, several sets of spare props here, or several spare props here. So we've got a good setup of props, and then a secondary power cable for that second charger. All of the standard owner's manual and warranty card and other information that's here. Last but not least, in the rugged bundle, you get a quad charger for the EVO II. Now, the EVO 1 quad charger will not work with the EVO 2 batteries. The EVO 1 charger will work with the EVO 2 batteries, but not in the quad charger config. So we've got a space here and the quad charger. So altogether, it's set up pretty fat and pretty thick. So let's look at a couple of other things with this particular aircraft. I'm going to set this aside. We'll check our battery real quick. Yep, battery's in good shape. I'm going to go ahead and move the rugged bundle off to the side here. Great. We've got an aircraft, we've got the remote control, and we're just going to hook this whole thing up and get an idea of what's here. Now, before, just for a sense of safety, before we do anything, we're going to go ahead and remove these props. Since we've never turned this aircraft on before and we don't know what might be in its memory banks, it's just a good idea to remove the props and make sure we keep this safe. Those down over here. Again, check our battery level. Battery level's in good shape. We'll turn on our remote control. Now, you will hear in this very quiet room, you will hear the fan that's in the remote control. One of the things we really love about the EVO series is that there's a fan built into the remote control. Why does that matter? Well, we're based in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's one of the hotter cities in North America. So we're grateful for the fan that's built into the remote control because that helps keep our aircraft overall a little bit more cool. So this is waiting to connect. And while that waits to connect, I'm going to go ahead and power up my tablet here. There we go. And then we'll power up our aircraft. Aircraft is powering up. It'll go through a couple of self-checks here. And it looks like everything's ready to go. Now before I connect my system to anything, the first thing I want to do is I want to press the display button here on my remote, and that lets me see whatever the camera is saying, and sure enough, it looks like everything's functioning there. So it's even telling me that my optical avoidance is controlled, or rather it's seeing things on all 360 degrees of the optical avoidance system, so that's great. So I want to show you how we run our systems here. Instead of putting a cell phone on here, we generally, first thing we do is remove this cell phone cover that's here, and then we set the system up so that we can plug it into an external tablet. And so we've got a tablet sitting here on top of a tripod. This is our standard way of operating. This can take just a second for the tablet and the remote control to sync up. And sure enough, the tablet sees it, heard it, etc. And I need to go in and input a password here for our tablet. There's our app loading up there, and you can kind of see it happening inside the tablet there. I'll pull this just a little closer so you can see what's there. It's asking me if I would like the tablet to open up Starlink or open up this application every time I plug in the remote control. I'm going to go ahead and tell it yes, because this is the first time this system has seen it. So let's go to our camera real quick. And so there is our view of what the aircraft is saying. We can see that live, of course, in real time. And so this is basically how we operate our system. Now, I'm not going to take you through and show you all the ins and outs of the different features that are found in the Starlink application, because we can talk about that in another video point. But one thing I do want to show you is how we operate. I've mentioned we plug this in to the system here. What we do is a strain reliever to keep our cable from getting stressed out, as this USB port can get stressed pretty quickly, is that we route the cable down through the arm that holds the system in place, and then when we close the arm, it creates a secondary strain relief right here. So we're protecting strain relief here, and we're protecting strain relief here. This way an operator can move in distances. So by having a long 15 or 20 foot cable, we're able to move around with the remote control while we still have this system. This is really handy because when we couple this with the live deck system, this allows people right around us, immediately around us as the pilot, to see what's going on inside the aircraft or from the aircraft view, as well as being able to send it out to another location, be it a command post, or maybe we're sending it to an ops center, or perhaps we're using it as a video village. But this is a great way to feed a couple of things on a large screen so that people can see what's happening. All right, well, before we run here, I want to show you a little bit of video. So this is some video of a law enforcement agency in an actual SWAT deployment using the thermal camera that we find on the EVO II. And so we'll have a look at that here. And what you're seeing is a SWAT command. This is roughly 11 o'clock at night, so it's pitch dark, using the thermal camera to be able to observe what's happening in this, basically it's a barricade scenario where somebody's barricaded inside of a house. So how does that work? Well, of course, it's thermal. What we have on this aircraft loaded for a payload is we have, first of all, an 8K RGB sensor. So in other words, this is capable of 8K video right in the system itself. Right next to it, we have a FLIR boson imager that is coming in at 640 512. So this particular imaging system is at 30 Hertz. That means it's the highest refresh rate of any system that's out there right now. Well, why do we care? Well, because the refresh rate of the thermal camera matches the frame rate of the RGB camera. That means motion is similar across both platforms that we have right there. And so this means we're not going to see any disjointed movement or any jerky movement. Now keep in mind, if you have been looking at the EVO II and you've purchased, say, an 8K or 6K, you can purchase this payload separately and mount that onto your existing aircraft or the aircraft that you've got coming anyhow. That's one of the beauties of the EVO II system, is the interchangeable payload. Now, one thing you probably noticed, especially for those of you that have seen Autel before, this is the same remote control that is being used for the EVO I. Well, your EVO I remote control can easily be paired to the EVO II aircraft. It's just simply a matter of pairing the two together. So it's pretty simple to set this up. Why does that matter? Well, we've run into scenarios where we've had dead batteries, or we've had one of these get dropped and the record button got jammed. So yeah, we can send this back and that's not a problem, but what do we do in the meantime? Well, if we've got a second unit that's around or having a second remote around, this makes it really easy for us to just pair that up. Now, another thing you can do by having a second remote is you can use one remote as an instructor mode and another remote as a student mode. So if you're an agency or an organization that's looking to train people with this particular aircraft, it's great to have two remotes anyway so that you have an instructor that can work with the student and take over in the case of any kind of emergency. So we'll look forward to you viewing some of our other videos here in the future or some of our past videos. Until next time, fly safe. Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. Those of us here at Sundance Media Group are always happy to see new people come and watch. Make sure you click that new subscriber button down below if you want to stay in touch with what's happening in the UA industry.